Welcome to Ponderosa North, for the love of Bonanza. Welcome to episode 12. Today I'm just going to give you a few facts from the show. I'm going to start with some of the real people that walked the streets of Virginia City that were featured in the show. Calamity Jane, Doc Holliday, Samuel Clemens, aka Mark Twain, who actually wrote for the Virginia City paper. Charles Dickens, Cochise, chief of the Apaches, Julia Burlette, who was an infamous madam of the time in the area, Henry T.P. Comstock, of course, and Thomas Bowers, a world-famous opera singer. I also want to talk to you about continuity. The continuity in this show was second to none. Very, very few mistakes. I can't tell you how many times I've seen these episodes and how many thousands of times I've heard that theme song, but very, very few. The only one that stands out to me is in Dead and Gone, when Adam rides up, he's just wearing his black ensemble, and in the next scene he's wearing his coat. That was pretty blatant, but very, very rare. I was recently watching The Ride, and Adam had been clipped by a bullet and he ripped his shirt, and that ripped shirt was continuous through the scenes that ripped shirt needed to be. So really good attention to detail. Just whoever was in charge of continuity on Bonanza, kudos, double kudos to you. There's a lot of 60s TV stuff too. I mean, nobody had an inkling that 60 years on we'd have the internet and fandoms, and we'd be, you know, really digging into the characters and all that stuff. They just produced one show a week, and you saw it once at the time it was slotted, and that was it. So now we have the opportunity to see them over and over and over and see all the details. Historically correct, the tack, the tools, everything in the mercantile, candy, food. The only thing was a little off was the hairstyles. They were wearing their pomade and their 60s hairstyles. The only question I had was, in the prime of life, Ben is putting money into an envelope, and he licks the envelope, and I thought to myself, I think that's kind of a modern invention, the adhesive on the envelope. But I looked it up, and apparently lickable stamps and lickable envelopes were invented in 1830. So even that was correct. So that's great. A+ on continuity in Bonanza. Okay, let's go on to a couple of facts about the show. We all know that the brothers were half-brothers. Each brother had a different mother. Ben's rank in the army was major. The saloons in Virginia City were the Sazerac, the Silver Dollar, the Bucket of Blood, Golden Nugget, and the bartenders were Sam, Cosmo, and Bruno. Joe was left-handed, very left-handed. Everything was, he was not ambidextrous in any way, shape, or form. Ben had a steam wheeler named Dixie. Here's a picture of the steam wheeler that he had later on in the series. What else have we got here? The president at the time was Abe Lincoln. Joe was named after Ben's father. Ben's father's name was Joseph. And Haas was named after his mother Inga's father. His grandfather's name was Eric. And we all know that Haas means big friendly man in his mother's native Sweden. Inga was Swedish. Ben was a ship's chandler, and he was also a ship's captain. Here he is. And that's how he met Adam's mother, Elizabeth. His superior officer, Elizabeth was his superior officer's daughter. So that's how he met Elizabeth. Bourne's Meadow. Bourne's Meadow is where the opening credits are when they ride up. And you can, when I was there in 2009, it looked exactly like this. It was pristine. But I heard recently that it has been sold and purchased for something like $35 million. But this site should really be an historical site for sure. It is located in Lake Tahoe, 22 miles south of Incline Village on Highway 50. So if you're ever in that area, you can drive by Bourne's Meadow. On the Ponderosa, they ran 4 businesses. They were in logging, lumber, cattle, of course, horse breeding, and mining. They had some mines. Michael Landon directed and wrote 17 episodes of Bonanza, starting in 1962 with The Gamble. The Virginia City Hotel was the Palace. Jay Livingston and Ray Evans wrote the Bonanza theme song. I happen to have an autographed map from Jay and Ray. And in syndication, they changed the name of Bonanza to Ponderosa. And so in syndication, in the beginning, it was known as Ponderosa. Ben had one brother. He had a brother named John, and John had a son named Will. And as I've mentioned before, Will is featured in the show. He's played by Guy Williams. Joe's mother was previously married, and she had a son. Joe's mother had a past, as they used to say in the whole time. She had a son named Clay, and he was featured in the episode Firstborn, so that would have made him Joe's another half-brother for Joe and a step-brother for Adam and Hoss and Jamie, I guess, later on. What else have we got? Oh, the Cartwright curse. Joe was the only one of the brothers to get married. Here he is getting married to Alice, played by Bonnie Bedelia, but she was not spared the Cartwright curse. She had a horrible ending, and that was featured in the episode Forever at the beginning of the 13th season? 12th season? The last season, whatever one that is. Poor Alice. It was a horrific episode. Very sad. Ben had an extensive antique gun collection. He loved to show that off to guests to the house. Mike and Dan's nickname for Lauren was Dad. And there was one time in the episode with Charles Dickens, I can't remember the name of the episode, but little Joe is at the breakfast table reading a newspaper, and he says, "Look, Dad, it's right in here." And so he kind of lets the nickname fly. I mentioned before that there was a crash during the dowry between Dan and Purnell, and Dan was injured quite severely. He broke his collarbone, but what I forgot to mention was in the last 2 episodes of season 3, you can see Hoss in a sling. Inga My Love and Mountain Girl. That sling is real. He really did mess up his shoulder when he fell off his horse. Another interesting thing about Adam is that by the time he was 17, he had lost 3 mothers. No wonder he was a bit serious. He'd had quite a tumultuous, sort of sad upbringing. I'm going to do an entire show on the moms. So we'll get into all their history and who played them and so on and so forth. The last fact I'm going to give to you is the Ponderosa brands. There were 2 Ponderosa brands featured, and there they are. So that's it for the fun facts. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time on Ponderosa North for the love of Bonanza. Bye for now.